to see me suffer, make sure you hit the subscribe button. That's it, let Carl go first. You're safe until next Christmas. I've already made some amendments, so I've got a 52 litre Raid Tasmania Tiger pack with the additional pouch. All that's in there is my roll mat and then some warm clothing in the top. There's very little weight furthest away from my body. The majority of the weight, okay, the 3 kilos of camelback is against the body, as is big bumper food pack. Having a quick coffee and a bit of a chill. It's not even that cold, it's maybe minus, what do you reckon it is, -2?
No.
Last night, for instance, it was -4. So it's just one of those considerations and things you have to take into account. If you can't close these two fingers together, or if you notice discoloration, or when you press on your hand and the blood doesn't refill quickly enough, you're left with sort of a yellowy flesh mark of where your thumb was, it might be time to get the gloves on. We just keep following these blue markers. So we're a fair few kilometres down the road now, still short of where we really want to be, and still fighting the daylight, which is constantly evading us as we're midwinter.
Even less people seen today.
Carl's just made a quick on-the-fly adaptation to the pack he's wearing, and he's just taken a simple bungee and put it across his chest just to help close the bag. These chest straps, what they're essentially saving you from doing is having to pull the weight of your pack and your shoulders forward. That energy can be saved by the body and used elsewhere. A lot of them nowadays have this little survival whistle. The road is long. I'm starting to really struggle now with my left knee.
Struggling with hip and ankle swelling. I think the proclaimers lied. I don't think they would have walked 500 miles for anyone.
Still loving the trail, still loving the sunshine.
We've had a couple of kilometres of flat, which has been a relief.
Now we're trying to achieve 40 kilometres a day, and already both of us, in the relatively short amount of time we've spent in the outdoors on this trip, have been to a degree humbled. Waking up this morning on the leeward side in the shadow, having had -4 last night. So at the moment it's a similar substrate, but for the most part it's been this really soft couple of millimeters on top. Okay, so this wasn't such a problem when we first started out. When we hit an area called Cheesefoot Head, it was about an inch of really thick wet clay. When it's a gentle incline, when we're basically, as we were on some of those hills, it's like going up the travelator, just chalk path like a staircase. I'm actually okay with that, and I can do that pretty well. When it's like a steady incline, that's when the back of my knee starts to swell. You all right, mate?
Yeah, just went for a wet foot again. I've just dried out.
You got a wet foot again? I've already taken away things going through in my mind. I wouldn't change the boots. I wouldn't change the trousers. I would change the coat
And the company.
its layout. But we'll get to the company in a minute. I wouldn't change the warmers. The merino hat kept me really warm inside the sleeping bag last night. For the keen-eyed amongst you, you can make out the cleats, okay, of the deer. So this is a well-used run by both tracked vehicles, push bikes, and obviously local wildlife. So Sussex Downs are teeming with deer. I think the predominant species you'll find up here a lot, and certainly West Sussex into East Sussex, is going to be fallow. I hope I'm not talking out of term here. About 90 centimetres at the shoulder, with those kind of Bambi white speckles on the rear quarter. A beautiful set of antlers when they do put them on, which are kind of conjoined. They're not kind of clearly defined and separated.
I had a question for you, Nick.
Go on.
In what season or what month do deer lose their antlers?
At Christmas, these animals are by and large just trying to survive. They spend a lot of time eating and feeding themselves up on all that green vegetation in the spring, and then they will produce at a rate rarely seen anywhere else in the animal kingdom a full set of antlers. but they'll be covered in a layer of what's called velvet, in a layer of fine haired skin. And what they'll do is rub up against the side of small coppice, which is what causes an awful lot of damage to our fledgling woodlands and more established woodlands here in the UK. The next part of the process will see them starting to put on physical size as they head towards the latter part of the year and what is commonly known as the rut. And it's essentially a game of winner keeps all for the harem of ladies and the rights to be the top stag. They will then cast the antlers aside, and so it's late in the year, around October, November time, typically when we can find large castings of antlers. Right, we're at the top of that hill.
Not quite.
False. Oh, it just keeps climbing, and the sun is just peeking up over the hill. We've just had another stop. We're both aching now massively. Carl's feeling tip-top as well.
Tip-top. I'm looking forward to taking my boots off.
We've just had a bit of a discussion about what's realistic now. We're going to press on again, make the most of this experience, because this is my only window for this winter to be able to do this. And we've got a point in our head, in our mind, that we're going to try and reach and find a small woodblock we can dive into for this evening. Realistically, we're looking at the possibilities of reassessing tomorrow morning, depending on where we get to, what's possible here. It's certainly not going to be the full distance at this rate. It is entirely possible to easily make the halfway mark, just over that.
We might wake up tomorrow and this will all be over, and we'll be just looking at Seven Sisters thinking we'll go for it. But
I think you need some sugar or some more water or something, or the sun's got to your head.
I think I need a new friend.
You need a new friend. Yeah, you and me both. Come on then, get the bag on.
You go first.
All right, hold that. Right, so I've put mine on a tree stump, so I haven't got to bend down as far. It's going on the knee, and then throw the shoulder through.
Like a pro. You got to do the sheep bar as you rest it on your back.
Yeah, we should explain about that. So we've had a little game where each one of us, as we get tired, if we need to admit that we need a break and to create the table shape of shame, that individual has to bar like a sheep. Meh! Nice and loud. Here we go, it's your turn now.
There's nothing in it really.
This is a prime example of what we call dead ground. So what you see on the map is a nice straight line. What happens in reality is a different kettle of fish. So we've come down and up from that little bridge, up crested over this hill, to find that there is a large drop, and then it's going to go all the way down, and we're going to go back up that again.
Oh. If you noticed as well, so I knew this was coming, hence why I took my jacket off at the last stop.
So to see me suffer, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Well, give me a hand up then.
I can't, it's too heavy. Yeah.
Right.
Where was my hand yesterday?
I literally can't get up.
I'm going to have to call in the mat.
Oh, that was spectacular. Oh dear God.
The actual South Downs Way just goes up there and then doubles back on itself to meet up the top of
Right,
here.
so the choice is we either go around here or we go straight up this nasty bit of kit and over.
Yeah. Let's go. Plenty of smoke straight up the middle.
So this is Harting Down now?
I believe so, yeah.
This is incredible. So what
Feels
we've
like
got,
you're going to fall off the edge of the world there,
it does, doesn't it? I mean, just look at that view. It's almost like a cliff. Just this field just drops away so steeply.
There is a nice point at the top actually. So the trig point on the top is there's a compass, and it shows you the distances to not only the other high downs, but the distances to monuments around the area. So I don't know, Portsmouth and whatever. It's almost like a ladder, but it's going to be interesting with the slippery chalk. We'll give it a go.
And the weight.
We're either being stupid or clever and deciding to go straight up the gradient rather than round it.
This is a good one.
We're about an 8 km out.
Water at this point would be a great idea. You've got literally step marks carved out to get up this thing. Oh, that is steep. He doesn't want to make the noise now.
I haven't got the breath in me.
Caught him there. I can't even open the gate. Why can't I open the gate?
Lift that little nugget.
I'm not tired, you're tired. Hopefully this is the top of this one.
It's about another 100 metres.
Savage.
You see a trig point, that's the top.
Let's just stop and take in some of this view for a second. Here we are at the trig, where you've got all the different points on here. You can see orientated north, east, south, west. We're heading easterly, obviously, with the sea off to our right. And Petworth House, 10.5 miles. We've just come down off that hill there. It's just been a complete roller coaster so far today. Well, this is not helpful. Bah. I'm going to say it's got to be this chalk path. There's no way it's that. So we're on the edge of this woodland.
Coming to the edge of it.
We're on the edge of this woodland here. Now the gamble is if we where's the campsite?
So there's a known campsite down here.
There's a known campsite down here, but this is a good 5k. It's easily 5k.
Our current pace is probably about an hour and a quarter.
Yeah, so an hour and a quarter based on what we got left in the sky. It's going to be about right. There's not much room to deviate and to just pitch a tent because it's all barbed wire.
The other problem is if we get to the campsite and we can't get in, then we know I've got a big old we've got a big old feature to get up to be able to get to any sort.
So we'll have to then climb up a massive feature
in the dark,
which will have growing on the steep incline. In this part of the world, we know there's going to be a lot of yew trees. Sleeping under a yew tree, not a good idea. Before it becomes open countryside, do we just dive off up here behind a bit of cover?
I think that's our best call.
Because of the law surrounding wild camping here in the UK, you really need to gain owner's permission. Wow. Just a poignant thing to stop and have a look at is that this chap here was a German pilot who was flying in a Junkers JU-88 Alpha 1 who crashed and exploded in Phyllis Wood in here. So he's got a small gravestone to himself, and his name was Hauptmann Joseph something like Olstenmann, 1915 to 1940. We decided to gamble.
We're hoping it paid off. We're about, what, 10 minutes away? We can see where the campsite is marked, and
we're just
an active website.
We're running down this track to try and... Oh, there's cattle everywhere. We have landed ourselves a dormant winter campsite and basically pleaded to the lovely lady that is Pauline and offered her a tenner. It's got a running tap, a porta toilet, a field where we're going to be undisturbed, and somewhere for us to just set up. The one thing I wanted to show was the EBNS deployment. I basically just pull the banding off. I've made an extra one up and let it go. And this is it in a nutshell. With one pole that goes over the top and the fly sheet that goes over that. So I'm bivvied pretty much opposite Carl so we can be a bit more social this evening. We've used both poles to make the tunnel of love with the tarp. The chef is busy preparing food.
So we were just debating whether the toilet this morning or this camping site was the best part of today, but it's got to be the views from the downs, to be honest.
Let me show you my humble abode. So in here, through the other side of the mozzie net, I've got my bag and on that side will be where I can reach all my equipment and do all my admin. We're down to 1 spoon, might have to whittle one. Right, oh. Actually, those 2 hot spots I can feel are both in exactly the same space, just the other side of the big toe. So no action required other than air them, pre-powder in the socks. Once the powder's got in the socks, they'll go into, because these are the clean socks, these are going to go into my bedding. I'm just boiling up a large pot of water. I will be having chicken tikka with rice, and I will be having the freeze-dried custard with mixed fruits. Oh, and glorious curry. I'm so excited. I don't know what to have more. Let's have some of the dessert first. Sweet tooth. That is good. Another curry. Oh, just look at that. That is actually really good.
So I had no hotspot there or anything.
That is a monster.
Yeah, so that was none of my concern while I was walking. And so I've got one there that's causing trouble. But what it is the softness. My skin's got wet and stayed wet for a period of time.
Yeah, you're gonna have to let those feet breathe, man, for as long as possible.
So tonight I'll have them out of socks.
If you can not pop it tonight, but before we get going tomorrow, we'll pop it. You've got another one on the back there. Yeah, that is filled with fluid. Okay, mate, so that's another one we're gonna have to watch for. Okay, morning of day 3. Not feeling quite so clever, and there is frost. The whole tent is frosted over. Oh my god. Are you still alive?
I am, yeah. We should really be walking by now, shouldn't we? But we're giving ourselves a little bit of more respite.
Yeah, we need a slow start, mate. We need a slow start today. That's not pretty. What about this one? Okay, so that's
popped, isn't it?
That's now popped in there because that was on the inside of there as well, wasn't it? Anything on the heels?
Just that
nasty one there.
And I had one there, but that's popped as well.
We've pretty much packed up now. Realistically, got 12k to push, and then I think we're looking at getting picked up. You've got to take your ego out of it when you're in the outdoors, because sometimes you're at the mercy of the things you can't control.
That's probably the reason why I love the Downs as well so much. You know, you can go out and do 5k on a dog walk and think, oh, that was a bit cheeky, or you can try and get the whole thing done. It sort of still surprises you.
It's cold today. I'm committing a cardinal sin. I'm walking in my warm gear. We'll stop and take that off soon. This OEX wicking bamboo, I think it's made of some kind of bamboo substrate, has performed really well. I've not felt like I'm overly sweating. I've opened all the vents on my coat. We've smashed out this absolute roller coaster.
We're currently coming down here. There's Amberley at the halfway point.
Right, so we've made the executive decision to try and meet up with one of the friends and family that we have dotted along the route, who have all been in on this from the start, to be able to come and collect us at different points should we need to activate that. The worry is, and what we had to weigh up was, if we carried on going and we pressed on into another section of 20 miles of unsupported, and let's say toxin build up in foot got really bad, I keeled over, whatever, we then be into the realms of search and rescue. So last thing we want to do is do that. There's no bruised egos here. I'm immensely proud of what we've done. I think there's a few tweaks I'd like to make to the kit, certainly the weight, and we'll do another video on the what and the why later. But right now our priorities are just get in. What are you gonna do? What's the first thing you do when you get home?
Shower and an egg banjo.
Mate, I'm looking forward to oh my god, a bath with some Epsom salts, and just to be left alone for half an hour would be amazing. Thanks to everyone for watching this. I've loved every minute of this. There's been parts of it that have been hard, and I'm just really looking forward to growing from it. So for myself and Carl,
Till next time,
it's bye for now.